Testing audio.
I hear ya. Sorry, Google Timer's freaking out. We're there, guys. We made it.
Testing audio.
I hear ya.
That's coming through in your Skype. Hey, guys. Thanks for coming out. All right. Ready to get fired up?
Get the video going.
It is up. Do you see it there, Playoff Beard?
I stopped the play so that I would only hear the audio.
Oh, okay. Video is there. Guys, thanks for coming out. I'm Audiendress. We're going to be playing some games today, giving out some ice, having a good time. With me, I have Playoff Beard. We're just in Skype together, hanging out. He's going to be monitoring chat, taking questions, and then the two of us are going to be answering it, and we're going to be talking about some new coming features coming up in Vainglory. Also, I posted on the Vainglory forums and the Vainglory game subreddit, and invited anybody who wanted to add me to their friends list, and then I'm going to be grabbing people at random and just playing games with them today. And then at the end of each game, just so people are aware, we're going to do 3 random giveaways to 3 random users in chat. Each of them is going to get 1,000 ice, just so everyone's on the same page. Yeah, these party invites are not stopping.
Hey everybody, it's Playoff Beard. We also have Fury and
chat. Each of them is going to get 1,000 ice, just so everyone's on the same page.
Is that coming through in your sound?
These party invites are not.
Playoff Beard?
Hey everybody, it's Playoff Beard.
Hey everybody, it's Playoff Beard. We also have Fury in the chat, so a couple Super Evil devs, probably more. As 80 said, 3,000 ice per match. All you have to do is follow the channel and watch the stream. You don't have to do anything else. You will be automatically eligible. It's a random Twitch tool. And, oh, it sounds like I'm causing echo.
I think it fixed itself.
Okay, so it's a random tool. So, you know, we just hit the button and it'll select the winners. 3,000 ice per match. Last week we gave away 21,000 ice. So should be a lot of fun. We also, Double Glory Weekend, we turned that on already. So after the stream, jump in. This is the last kind of holiday period Double Glory Weekend, your last chance for Double Glory. So definitely jump in game and play as much as you can and save up some extra ice. We will have a lot more uses for ice in the future, kind of super secret stuff that Surprise Birthday and Captain Nito are working on we can't talk about yet.
I see.
But yeah, there'll be some good stuff other than just the heroes.
Cool. I love that you just leave it at that, just saying stuff coming in the future, period. That's fun. Okay. Well, let's get in the game. I still am dealing with a bunch of invites, but what I wanted to do is make a separate list of people that have just added me today, but I don't think I'll be able to keep up. So I'm just going to click and accept as many of these as I can, and we'll just hop into a game.
And so you're just going to go straight off your friends list, right? Because I saw some people discovered the FrankBot organically, which we use on things that are a little bit smaller scale. But you'll probably just be picking people off the friends list, right?
Yeah, I think that's going to work a little bit better. The FrankBot list is cool, and it's fun when there's not 1,000 people all spamming it. So what we'll do is I'll just run a list off of what I have. So here, if I say I'm going to party, I have quite a few people to choose from, and so we'll probably just grab some. If it's possible, I'd like to get started maybe just running a game with some of the other streamers. I know I saw Shin in the channel and Loose Keys, who's Brad, and then a last name that I wouldn't want to try to pronounce on stream. Brad Chmielewski or something like that.
Yeah, jump in. Yeah, let's get into a game.
Okay, let's do it.
And for anyone who doesn't know, that's Loose Keys. He's actually got a podcast called Shatter the Vein, which is it's the first official Vainglory podcast I've seen. You know, I love these types of podcasts, been listening to Trinity Force and some other ones for the genre for a long time. So it's really fun to see that starting up, and I'm definitely listening to that in the car as I'm going to and from the Super Evil lair.
That's cool. I remember him posting on the Vainglory subreddit about it, but I haven't been good enough at listening to podcasts in the past, and I still haven't changed.
So while we're getting that match going, for anyone who didn't notice, we started the lore for the next 3 heroes. It's going to be a interwoven story, so hop in the news section in-game, which will be the place that you want to keep looking as we drop more hints, more glimpses. There's a number of things going on here. You can try to figure out who the 3 heroes are that we're putting in the game. And there's some additional kind of really hidden stuff. I don't know what you're going to be able to make out quite right now because there aren't enough clues. But as we continue to drop more lore pieces, there's going to be kind of another level to this stuff to enjoy as well. So look for things about the heroes. Look for things even about maybe some in-game synergies and maybe some even more hidden stuff. So keep an eye on that lore, and I'll drop a link into the chat.
Okay. Now, while we're in queue for our first game, I wanted to ask, and this isn't something you necessarily have to answer, but is there a hard 3-minute limit cap on queue times?
Oh, you're just going to put me on the spot with
Just
all
like
the hot seat questions, because you're. So for anyone, I don't know if we said it on the outset, but 80 is guest hosting for Z Kent, the former Team Curse support, one of our best players already, who's still on holiday. He'll be back next week, and so now it looks like he's going to use this position as guest host to try to put me on the spot as much as possible, which is fine. And I might try to defer some to Nito if he shows up later. But so the 257, a lot of people have been playing for a while. They know that 257 number, and we might hit the 257 number. Basically, the matchmaker is going to look for people who are as close to your ELO as possible, your player skill rating as possible. Then it's got a secondary characteristic, which is your karma score. Now, if it finds 6 players that are all, really closely bunched together in the hotness, it's going to think this is a great group to kick off a match. But if one of those players has really bad karma, he AFKs a lot, it's going to exclude that player if everyone else has good karma and say, this guy who AFKs, he's not a good match for the other ones, and is going to find another player, even if it's not quite as good an ELO match. He doesn't want to put an AFK player with dedicated players. So the 257 thing is when the matchmaker starts to get a little more greedy. It's going to hold off and look for a really, really good fit. And then after 257, it will expand its parameters a little bit just to make sure people don't wait around too long. That being said, we've been talking a lot internally about whether that's the right number. Whether people would prefer to wait even longer if they think that it would be an even more competitive match. So let us know in the chat, let us know in the forums if for you 257 is shorter than you'd be willing to wait. You'd be willing to wait 310, 330, 430. That's good feedback for us, because the longer we wait, the better a chance the matchmaker has of getting the best possible, most competitive, most fun match for you. But we don't want you to just be sitting around in the queue, especially since we don't have the ability yet for you to watch the videos or read the articles without dropping yourself out of the queue, which, by the way, is something that we're definitely going to fix.
Okay.
So we don't want you to wait around too long.
Now, that didn't make you too uncomfortable, did it?
Oh, no.
That wasn't too bad. Okay. All right.
No, you keep it coming. You got to represent the players today.
I just got the knife in the side. Now I'm going to twist it a little bit. You ready? So at 257, you're saying that it's just matching you people who aren't at your karma level, like with potential AFKs, levers, maybe matching you up, matching you down?
It's always going to hold the karma line, but it's going to expand its ELO parameters a little to higher and lower. Just to make sure that you're not waiting around too long. So, if you're in the hotness, if you're simply amazing, if you're a pinnacle of awesome, and a match kicks off right away, chances are that means the matchmaker found some people who are really close to you, and that's got a good chance of being a highly competitive match. If you hit the 257, then it's likely that the matchmaker took the best available, which means you might, if you're a Pinnacle of Awesome, you might have someone who's hotness on your team or someone who's hotness against you, or it might pick 2 players, one for each side, that are a little lower to keep the teams balanced. But then in terms of teamwork, there might be a disparity on like how well someone knows how to duo jungle with you, that kind of thing. So that's something you can keep an eye on. But tell us if you think 257 is the right number, because that's obviously something that we can easily tweak, and it's the kind of thing we're looking at all the time. So I see you
get around it.
What's that?
Are there ways around it? Like if I keep dodging in 2 minutes, will I just eventually get a match, or potentially never find a match?
You mean if you cancel your match?
Yep.
Oh, so if you cancel and you restart the timer, the matchmaker will just continue to look. Yeah. So, that would be a way. If you prefer to wait a really long time for a really competitive match, that would probably work. Although I would prefer that we kind of solve it on our end, so you don't have to do those kinds of workarounds. Now, I see you picked crawl here. So can you tell me, like, you going to do a crystal crawl, a weapon crawl? What are you thinking about? I see, just take me through kind of your early game thoughts on playing crawl.
Sure. I actually was considering not playing crawl just because we're going to be double tank, where Catherine never really outputs very much damage. If I play crawl, I usually do a tank build because his second ability is just so strong at dueling and tanking. The complication we run into is late game. If we don't have the damage, then we can't ever kill enemies and put ourselves in a whole lot of trouble. But if Adagio, does end up doing really good damage, we basically have to rely on him to be our damage source, which can be a bit of a concern. I think we'll actually end up being fine, but we shall see. So Cruel is a good jungler, he's a good soloist, he's really great in the late game. And you can see here, I'm bullying their Cruel because I got the first auto off. Each stack that shows up there above his head, you can see I have 1 stack on me there. Each of those stacks is reducing his attack speed, which is just putting me further and further in the lead. By keeping him down, it's basically pushing me ahead. So I'm stacking faster, and I already had early stacks on him.
Now, did you go double Iron Guard, or what did the Catherine do there? I didn't see.
I didn't even bother checking. I'm almost certain she would go contract. It's such an efficient buy because of the gold that it gives you. Just standing here, you can see the icon at the bottom left just ticking down. That's the cooldown for the gold off this item. But here in a minute, I'll have 1 tick on it. And when I get a certain number of ticks, it will cash out and just give me gold just for standing around getting hit in the jungle. And the contract's also an efficient buy because what it builds into in the late game is almost unrivaled as far as power. The Warhorn is so much movement speed on such a short cooldown for your whole party. It's like a second move without being a second move.
So, 80, just so you know, and we'll get this sorted, we're getting some feedback that the in-game audio is a little loud and you are a little soft. So when we get a chance, that's something that would be good to adjust.
Okay. So they are getting in-game audio then?
Yeah, which is good. I prefer them to get in-game audio, but soft enough that it's not bothering people.
Well, I don't see why they get it and I don't. I can't hear any in-game audio.
So what's interesting is that to have a double Iron Guard plus an invade is pretty surprising, actually. What I would look at on the scoreboard is if I see a double Iron Guard on the enemy team, that's an opportunity for me to invade because you guys didn't take damage items off the bat. So,
sure. We don't have combat stats. Right?
Yeah, power to you for that working out. The other thing is, in this example, you both have Iron Guard, so it's not as big an issue, but something I see all the time is one person takes Iron Guard and the other doesn't, which is kind of the best way to duo jungle, in my opinion, at least kind of the in-game lair meta. But I don't see a lot of people actually taking full advantage of the combination of one person Iron Guarding and one person not, where the Iron Guarder is taking all of the jungle aggro, and the other person is last hitting and they're sticking together so that if they run into someone, they have a 2v1 opportunity. So for people out there, if you're not playing that way, try it out. Just if you have Iron Guard, hit the monster first and take the aggro, and let the other person hit the monster last and get the gold. And because of Iron Guard's passive gold, you'll both be getting gold. It tends to be really efficient, and then you can find some moments in the jungle where you can take people out because you have the man advantage. When I play at high elo games, kind of with random public queue, the thing that I run into most that's difficult is having my jungle partner way off in some other part of the jungle, and then when I run into someone, I don't have the advantage, or at least the equal odds of having someone with me.
That's fair. Those are actually all good points about the contract, because pulling aggro means that you're going to take all the hits from it, and that means that you'll get the most benefit from your contract. You need to get hit to get your gold from the contract.
And so for the people asking, just because of the sheer volume of players, 80 is going to be picking people from his friends list. We had a forum post and a Reddit post at the Vainglory game subreddit, just letting people know to add 80 Endress in-game. You can still do that now. Just go into Vainglory and invite 80 Endress as a friend, and he'll accept it. And then when he goes to party queue after this match, then he'll just be picking people out of the queue or out of his friends list there for matches. So that's what to do if you're interested in playing. And if you're looking to win ice, just watch the stream. If you see something you want to comment occasionally, go for it. But if you're following the channel and you're watching the stream, you're automatically eligible for ice. It's just a Twitch plugin, and I just hit the button and it randomly tells me who wins. Pick 3 people each match for 1,000 ice each, and we give away the ice after the stream ends.
Ice, baby. Yeah, so there, I just had a pretty efficient gank against Ringo. Ringo lacks escape. His escape is just a slow killing shot that he does. And so if I can get on him and slow him first, then his slow won't be nearly as effective. But to do that, I have to sit in a bush for 3 seconds. So you'll see he actually walks right up next to me, and then I just kind of walked away from him. Seems like, oh, except I didn't kill the fool. Oh, that was my bad. Really thought we'd get a kill there.
So I see that you build attack speed and you're focusing on smite on your second ability.
I am. Yeah.
Is that kind of how you're going to go? Are you looking at like a tornado trigger or bone saw kind of thing?
It is a really good synergy. Where I'm up against. Well, let me double check here. I am up against double weapon. Cruel and Ringo are both going to be weapon, and Adagio definitely pumps out some physical attacks. So I'll probably be looking at an early coat of plates. And then just for Shin, I'll get a chronograph, which is going to give me the cooldown acceleration that I need so that I can cycle through my abilities faster than the enemy Cruel, so I start winning those duels. Both of my deaths have come just because I rotate through my spells, get him dangerously low, he gets his spell rotation up first, and he kills me with his second rotation.
And 80, if you have the ability, it's probably worth taking a minute and trying to lower the in-game sounds, because we are getting a lot of feedback about that.
Okay. Yeah, I just need to unplug my headset for 1 second. Which might be a little dangerous. Hold on, please.
So while he's doing that, so again, for anyone who just joined us, Double Glory Weekend has already started. We're picking 3 winners after every match for 1,000 ice each. We just started the new lore for the next 3 heroes, which you can check out. And 80 is guest hosting for Z-Kent, who is still on holiday. He'll be back next week, and we'll be taking questions live out of the chat. So if you have questions for the devs, if you have questions for 80 on how he's playing, or some more kind of intricate item nuances, he's really good about answering questions about that kind of stuff. So go ahead and ask questions. So I see a player, Ozlix, saying Scarf is garbage, and I love these kind of comments. What I would say to that is, if you think Scarf is underpowered right now, then you're not using his heroic perk properly. So Fan the Flames, the heroic perk, the more basic attacks you do after someone is on fire, the more damage you do, the hotter those flames will get. And I promise you, dedicate a match and you get something like alternating current or tornado trigger, and all you focus on is getting someone lit on fire and then basic attacking them as many times as possible without getting yourself too exposed, your opinion on Scarf will change. If anything, I would go as far as to say that I think he might be a little overpowered right now, that the heroic perk might be a little too strong. So if you think that Scarf is underpowered, give it another look. Check out the Spotlight video that Ciderhelm did. There's some opportunities there that you're not taking advantage of with Scarf.
I don't know, man. Only doing 12% of somebody's maximum health each second for 3 seconds, 36% of somebody's health doesn't make sense. It's clearly not overpowered, right?
No, I think he's in a pretty good place.
I think 36% over 3 seconds is ridiculous. I think it's way too high. Scarf is so strong in the right hand. Some early attack speed and his buff is enough to just kill somebody.
Yeah, I think what I find is that the lower the elo, the more of a beast he is. And the higher the elo, the more you really have to be doing some additional things right, like figuring out when to use your ultimate, which can be really tricky to have the right timing on that, to not just end up killing yourself. But yeah, it's fun to see the debate on that hero in particular, because depending on how you're using him, your opinion might be very different.
Yeah, the first time I played against him, I was like, this guy is so bad. He doesn't make any sense. None of his abilities are strong. I wasn't worried about him at all. And then the very next game, I was like, Jungle Scarf? Oh my goodness. The garbage is matching me up against, and this Jungle Scarf started 6-0. He just found us and would hit one ability and then auto with like certain boots. It was a monster. You really should take that, Loose Keys. You're low on energy.
And I see a funny comment there from someone who said they just realized that the energy is underneath the health bar. Yeah, it is there. It's a little subtle. But yeah, your energy, which would be called mana in other elements of the genre, is there. So is your XP. If you haven't noticed, the XP bar that is underneath the ability tray. If you want to know how long before you're going to have another ability point to spend, that is there as well. It's pretty subtle. So I know there are some UI opportunities there that we're going to take advantage of to make stuff a little more clear.
Nightmare.
Nice. That's a good little catch there. Shin had a wonderful bait.
Oh, you have Shinkagen in this game too?
Yep.
So if you're not watching Shinkagen stream, twitch.tv/Shinkagen, that's one of my favorites. A really fun stream. He guest hosted last week. And, I'll plug for you because I know you won't do a shameless plug. If you're not watching Adiendris's Vainglory stream, definitely check that out as well. He's guest hosting Intent this week. He's got his own stream, and you should definitely check that out. And, I enjoy his stream, and I enjoyed they did a 1v1 tournament recently with, using an extra hero on each side for proper spectation, since we're still working on features like that. And that was really fun. I really enjoyed the color commentary there. So definitely check out those guys' streams when you're not watching the official one. It sounds like there's still an opportunity for the in-game sounds to be a little lower and your mic to be a little higher. So we'll definitely take, while I'm handing out the ice, while I'm giving away 3,000 ice after this match, we'll also take advantage of that time to make sure that we adjust this stuff. It, of course, was working, in our test prior to the live, but this is what always happens in real time, and we'll get it straightened out.
And are you gonna? Oh shoot! I just missed that. Are you gonna be all right if we have to take the stream down for a second to do that? Because I might have to restart OBS in order to fix it. Because I don't know what else.
That's interesting. Well, we can check on it when the match ends.
Like Catherine. Yeah, Catherine popped Warlord. Wait for Ringo here just because he doesn't want to do damage.
Immense gold
Enemy champions do.
you.
Pull that one. Oh no, that's the guy I want. Come here, friend. Alright.
So we'll definitely so 80 when this is over, definitely go to your volume controls and move your mic output volume up, and that should be good enough. Probably best to not cancel the stream
Okay.
in time because of the issues that could create. All right, good game.
I can
So-
mute overall sound, but that'll mute you as well. Let me see if Windows will let me do anything.
Yeah, so just get your mic output up there. And so while he's taking care of some of that housekeeping stuff, and take your time to try to get that right without pulling the stream down,
Yeah,
80.
yep.
I'm going to give away 3,000 ice. So for anyone who's just joining us, you don't have to spam the chat. If you are following the channel and you're watching the stream live, you are eligible, to win ice after every match. You could even win multiple times. I would just probably do an extra winner if that happened. And I just have a plug-in, so you don't have to suck up to me or 80. I just hit the button and it tells me who wins. So the first winner for this match is Holy Lucifer. All right, I'm not sure I want to play Holy Lucifer, but Holy Lucifer is a winner. So I'll put the name in the chat. And check your Skype messaging there for a couple messages, 80.
Sure.
So the second winner is Dat Team 0. So Dat Team 0 is a winner. The third winner for this match is Fernando with a bunch of extra letters and stuff there. So Fernando, congrats, you win 1,000 ice. And just because we had some audio issues there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a extra winner, but for this match. But just before I do, if you do win, all you have to do is send a private message to Vainglory on Twitch. Just click the Vainglory profile page, click the little gear icon, send a message, and just include your in-game name. That's it. That's all you have to do, and we will, after the stream is over, I'll manually go in. This is Playoff Beard, by the way, if you join late. I'm on audio. 80 Andrus is on video. I will go in and we'll manually add your ice when the live stream is over. So let's do one more. Sorry about the little audio glitches there. I don't know. We have some really weird luck. Like, what was it, like 2 weeks ago or last week, where people said that it sounded like aliens making babies like at the beginning, and we had to get that straightened out. So sorry about that. Let's do one more winner here. And the last winner for this match, we'll be doing a lot more. Last stream we gave away 21,000 ice. The last winner for this one is El Hansel is a winner. So congrats, El Hansel. So let's do a recap. So this match, it was Holy Lucifer, Dat Team, Fernando, and El Hansel. So recap for this match. There are the winners for this match. We'll be posting in the forums and on Reddit as well in case you join us late. And every match we'll give away 3,000 ice. So do you need a little more time, or you think you got things worked out there?
It looks like I got it straightened up.
All right, so if let us know now in the chat if it doesn't sound, ideal, and we'll still keep tweaking it, and we'll get another match going. So Double Glory Weekend is on now. It's the last Double Glory Weekend, so play a bunch and save up after this match. The lore for the next 3 heroes is started. There's a lot of levels to it, so take a look and read a little bit deeper. I'm getting a message, so bump up the audio of 80.
Okay.
A little bit more, I guess.
I can do that.
And 3 winners after each match. So after that, let's get a match going. So it looks like we're going to have another private match going here.
Yeah, I'm probably going to run a private match. I've been loving this functionality that you guys added. The ability just to like instantly get into a game, swap teams, grab a bunch of people and just go has been really fun. It's also led to
Nice.
some really interesting uh, like situations where people don't swap teams and you have two pedals on the same team. And life gets a little bit crazy trying to manage whose is who. But I don't know.
Yeah, and there are going to be some improvements coming in the next couple updates to that experience as well. So, who do you find yourself playing the most these days?
It depends. If I'm playing lane, I definitely like to go Ringo. I like Ringo in lane because he matches up well against Petal. He also is a fair matchup against Saw and Adagio. Obviously, he's not going to push Adagio out of lane, and he's not going to dominate Saw, but he can hold his own because he last hits so well at turret. And in the jungle, I really rely on Cruel a lot.
Okay, sounds like the audio is a lot better. Thanks, guys, for sticking with us. So I saw you did the attack speed crawl, which is actually my favorite crawl. I don't think it's smart, but I like to go blazing salvo on crawl out of the gate and focus on the second ability and just really get those stacks up fast. I find it super fun, even if it's not, the smartest thing that you could be doing. But lately I've been playing a multiple clockwork crawl and going blue, going crystal instead, and that is super fun. Your abilities are just up all the time. You put the overdrive, the fifth point, in your first ability, Dead Man's Rush,
Yeah.
and you just throw your sword like crazy and stick on people, and it's a lot of fun. So those are a couple ways to play Saw that are probably a little bit extreme. Like a all attack speed early or a triple clockwork, but you can have a lot of fun with it.
Do you see these teams? Scarf, Ringo, Cruel, that's normal, versus Catherine, Ringo.
Oh, so all right, so that tells me that someone did not that you didn't balance out the teams before the in the private match before the timer ran out.
It's true.
Which is an exploit in 1.1.5, which someone thought would be fun to do on stream, I'm sure. That's actually fixed in 1.1.6. So if you have an oversubscribed team, if you have 4 members on one team, 2 members on another team, in the next update, the match will not kick off. So you will need to use that switch teams button. But, you exploit things and have fun with them while you can. It's private match, so glory isn't at stake. So if people want to do that, we don't optimize for that. You might find something that is game breaking by having 2 of the same hero, so it's not really recommended. But if you find a private match exploit and you want to have fun with it with your friends, until the next update comes out, it's not really a big deal.
And really, it's hard to pull off because when you're all lined up on one team, it's hard to get you can get 2 pedals on one team or whatever, but you can never get 3 of the same champion, and 2 was honestly bad. Like having 2 pedals was pretty troublesome because it was so hard to keep track of which minions were yours. But I don't know. Like you said, have fun with it if you can. I don't think it's gonna hurt anything. Won't be stepping on anybody's toes or whatnot, and it's gonna be gone next patch. So.
And yeah, someone's talking about how slow will the jungle clear be? Well, we'll have to see what they do.
Yeah, double Catherine jungle clear. I see what you're saying.
For a pitom there, an exit button is coming. Yeah, we'll fix that. And for battle there, I would love to see a spectator mode, obviously. So we're definitely working on more features. Every update, we're adding more features step by step, more heroes step by step. For sure, for Joran, they're asking when we will see more heroes. Pretty soon. We have some that are very close to release. We have many others that are at various stages of development. So perhaps not in the very next update, but I think you'll be pretty pleased with what we're lining up, and the lore for that is definitely starting already. For people talking about communication, that's a big focus for us right now on how we can do chat, how we can do forms of communication without it being too distracting or too toxic. And We do have chat right now, kind of in a very early beta in Southeast Asia and South America right now. There are improvements to that in 1.1.6, and that party queue chat, will roll out worldwide. We're just, really measuring, that experience, and then everyone will have that for start. But there's going to be a lot more kind of on that social front, on that kind of team communication front, coming down the road that people can look forward to. It's a very kind of topic that's very burning bright for us right now.
I thought I died, but then I didn't die, so I'm happy.
That's always good.
Yeah, I attacked somebody. Like I like to throw way too many commands so that the game can't keep up. So I'm like, step here, shoot that guy, step here again, shoot that guy again, and sometimes I'll glitch the game out because I'm doing it so quickly. And that time, I heard the animation that I was taking tower aggro, and one tower shot would have been enough for Ringo to kill me. And so I got all scared, and then I didn't die because the tower never shot. So sometimes if you dance right on the edge and you step back and step forward, if you get outside of the tower range, it won't actually fire. And that was a really good thing in that example, because otherwise I would be so far dead.
For people saying, why wasn't I picked for the stream, or 80 is showing favoritism, he probably is showing favoritism because, he's kind of sketchy guy.
That's me.
But I will make him pick randomly next match. So if you have invited him as a friend, we will make him pick randomly from his friends list next match, and I will monitor that.
So what I did for this time is I have a list of people that added me on the forums. Oh, we can almost kill that guy, darn it. I have a list of people that added me on the forums, but what happened was I went through the first 10 or so and didn't have a single person online from that. So maybe I should call out a name, and if they're in chat, they can hop on and we can wait for them. I noticed there was only a few seconds of delay on the stream when I pulled it up, but it might be different for other users. So as long as we don't mind waiting a few more seconds, I'd be totally fine getting people that I added from the forums. They sent me friend requests, and I wrote down each and every one of them, just so that when they would... Sorry guys, I'm coming.
Yeah, you can give that a shot if you want. Obviously, we don't want too much dead air, but we can give that a shot. I see one shot here is asking if you think Saw is balanced. Can you give us just kind of your take right now on where Weapon Saw is at, where Crystal Saw is at, if you'd like to play that hero?
I love playing Saw. My first 20 games, I only played Petal, and then I transitioned from Petal to Saw, and I played Saw religiously. I took a screenshot of every game I played, and I was more broken than anything. I remember the only person that beat me in lane on old Weapon Saw was a guy named Take, and he beat me twice in lane with Ringo. And here you see me playing Ringo now. But basically what I learned was that Weapon Saw could lose. It was just a matter of playing the matchup right. And I saw this guy beat me twice in lane. I just watched what he did, and I was able to do it. And so it's if you have a Saw on your team who maybe loses lane, you can take some notes and watch and see what they're doing, and maybe adjust your playstyle a little bit to match that, because it's definitely possible. Weapon Saw isn't nearly as bad as where he used to be. I don't even think it's as viable as Crystal Saw, and I wouldn't say that he's overpowered. He's definitely strong. His numbers are still all there, but I just don't think he's where he used to be.
And that's actually great advice. Just watching someone on a stream, like Z-Kent playing Saw or Z-Kent playing Scarf, you can pick up so much and apply it to, how you play. So if you feel like you've kind of plateaued on a hero that you really enjoy and you're having trouble at kind of your current elo, definitely watch some YouTube videos, watch some people on stream, see what they're doing, look for what you can pick up and what you can do differently. It's a great way to improve with a hero. For anyone who's joining us late and is saying what is going on with there being two Catherines on one team, which obviously changes kind of the gameplay dynamics, they used an exploit in the private chat mode. You can't do it in public mode. So it can affect Glory, it can affect Elo, but there's a private match exploit for managing to get 2 heroes on one team that has been resolved, and in the next update you won't be able to do it anymore. But private match is really just for bragging rights. If people want to mess around, they can mess around. I'd prefer the matches on the live stream to be legit. So 80, make sure in the future matches that the teams are even 3-3, or else cancel the match before it kicks off. But yeah, no harm, no foul really on that, since there's no Elo at stake, there's no Glory at stake. But it definitely changes the dynamic, and it's definitely not something that Captain Nito is balancing for. So interesting to see what happens there.
I think it's funny that you call it an exploit, but at the same time, like, where it's not really hurting anything, it's that's a harsh title to give it, I guess, but it is like it's finding a way around like the way the game was meant to be played. So, ow! Epic Visions just walked up and shot me because we killed him in the jungle. I kind of tried to ping my team away.
So if you're joining us late, it's 80 Endress on video. He's got his own
man.
stream that you should check out for sure. I'm Playoff Beard, one of the Super Evil devs. If you have questions for either one of us, drop them in chat. We also have Fury, another Super Evil dev who's in chat, as well as it looks like Zkent, who is on holiday, so he can't stream right now, but he's in chat, former Team Curse support, former professional mobile player. So if you have any questions for him, drop them in the chat too. He'll probably have a chance to answer. Use @Vainglory in the chat to draw my attention to your questions, and we'll answer as many questions on stream as we can, and also obviously be giving away 3,000 ice per match. So Team asking about guilds. We've got a lot of requests for guilds, for clans, for ways for players to kind of team up more effectively and have kind of larger groups, and it's definitely something that we're looking at. I can't, it's really easy for me to commit the rest of the team to features live on the stream, but that's obviously not entirely my call, and there are a lot of things that are in the works. So I can't make any promises. All I can promise is that it's something that there is a lot of conversation about that, along with other forms of competitive play, other forms of social experiences that we spend a lot of time talking about and working on in the lair. So can't give specifics, but the kind of big things that, if you're thinking there are big things that are features that you want in the game, know that we see your comments in the forums and the Vainglory Games subreddit and chats like this and line. We're listening and we're prioritizing the features that players are requesting most. So if you're waiting for it, and it seems, especially if it seems like something that's kind of obvious, it's there's a pretty strong likelihood that you'll see it in the coming in the coming updates.
Okay, cool. Now, did we talk enough about the lore that people feel satisfied?
Probably not, although there's not a lot I can say right now. I know that in the Q&A live stream with Captain Nito, and if you haven't seen that, go check out the Vainglory Casual YouTube channel. I'll drop the link in the chat, where you can find all the replays for the live streams and for the Q&A with Captain Nito. I know he said the next hero is not an assassin. I think that's the one very specific detail. But if you look at the art for the new lore, and the link, I'll drop the link in chat, but it's also below the video window here. If you look at the art, there are hints as to what's happening with the next hero or heroes. If you read the story, there's a lot of hints for what's happening with the next 3 heroes. I can't really say much more other than what you might be able to speculate on or read into from what's in that first lore story. There's a lot more lore coming, and there's kind of a second level to all of this. So, you can also develop some conspiracy theories or read deeper into some stuff, and then as you get more clues, you'll be able to apply it. For the people asking, like Tosh asking when the next update is coming out, we don't have complete control over that. The next update, 1.1.6, is completely done, but there's been the holiday break, and then there are just literally thousands of submissions to the Apple App Store for updates. I actually think they go really fast considering all of the submissions that they get.
That's
But
fair.
kind
They're
of
pretty
there's a
popular.
stage where we finish our part, and then we kind of have to wait for approval before the next update goes live. But I think we've been pretty fortunate with how efficient Apple's been with our stuff so far.
You are getting ridiculous.
Where is Z Kent? Maybe he will tell us in chat where he is. I see people asking where he is, but he's on holiday until the next live stream, so we have 80 sitting in. For all the people like Bombi asking about new maps, new maps take a really long time. New maps and game modes take a really long time. So just to be straight with you, I don't expect to see more maps or more modes that could divide up the player base. Before you see a lot more kind of highly requested features and a lot more heroes, I would expect those to be much more the priority. But you never know. Team members get inspired, things come together. There are surprises all the time. We have the kind of team where someone will come back after the weekend and just say, like, I got inspired to do this thing and I spent all weekend working on it. That won't be the case for a map because that involves many, many people over a long period of time. But, so I would expect to see a lot more features, a lot more heroes before you see more maps or more kind of like game modes that are like, full different experiences, like a 5v5. But
And that
this stuff is definitely possible for the future.
You actually had a really good point there because you were like, it divides the player base. When you have multiple maps, each player can only play on the one, and right now everyone can play together essentially. They can all get into the Halcyon Fold map. As soon as you add a second map, they won't have that liberty. So it's actually a pretty good point. Not something I had really thought about before because obviously I'm a player of the game. I think like, oh, a new map, that'd be so cool. Like this one is cool. Don't get me wrong, but a new one, that's just too much fun.
So I'm going to do some rapid fire, try to answer some questions rapid fire real quick because they're moving. So I can actually maybe slow down the chat more because they're moving fast enough that I'm not able to get to them all. For Driffin, who's asking about chat, chat in its kind of earliest stages is rolled out in Southeast Asia and South America. We're monitoring the performance and kind of the toxicity and all of those kinds of different ways to measure chat. There are updates in 1.1.6, and then that will be rolling out. Party queue chat will be rolling out worldwide. We're just making sure we get that right because there's a lot of ways to screw that up, to be perfectly honest. So we're making sure we do it right the first time. For the people asking about will there be servers closer to them, we have EU servers in Frankfurt. We have servers in Singapore. We have servers in the United States. If I'm definitely forgot a region there, but if you are getting lag and you feel like you're on your local server and you don't think it's good enough, servers is definitely something we can control. We can always add more servers, so definitely give us feedback at support@superevilmegacorp.com or find me Playoffbeard on the forums or on Reddit and give us that feedback because if your lag is too great, we could add more servers, but for example, the people in Australia asking about servers, if we just put servers on that continent and we make that its own region, we're only going to play with players who are in Australia. So there's kind of two sides to the coin. We kind of have to weigh against segregating out those players and having them only play against themselves with making sure that ping times are as good as possible. So if you think your experience isn't good enough, let us know because that's another thing that we definitely have control over. All right, good game.
I think you made a mistake there. You said if your lag is too great, but lag's never really that great. It was a joke. It's a joke, Playoffbeard.
I know. I just was dead air just to try to make you uncomfortable.
Oh man, so successful.
You saw the welcome dev video that we did where we trolled Fury. I'm not sure if you all saw that. Like Go find that link on the official YouTube channel where he did a perfectly good answer on camera, but then we just held it there for like another 30 seconds and made it super uncomfortable, and it was fantastic. And he's kind of known for that now. I'm sure there are like animated GIFs of that. So that's fantastic. For the people asking about the ability to adjust the button layout, I've been seeing a number of comments about that lately. People who want to change where the ability tray is.
Or the map.
I've talked with Kraken, who's our head of not the Kraken, but Kraken the dev, who's our director of UX, about that, and he's not opposed to it. He's not opposed to giving players the ability to move that ability tray where the 3 abilities are. So we'll take a look at that. If he feels like he's got a good way to give players control over that, then I think that could definitely happen in the future. Will someone post a link to the podcast? So, Geeky, if you're referring to the Shatter the Vein podcast that Loosekey does, that's shatterthevein.com. You can find it. That's the one podcast that I'm aware of. If there are more, tell us, because I definitely want to check those out as well. So, good game. Hold your questions for just a second, because this is going to go by too fast for me while I do the ICE awards, but I want to hand out ICE for the next 3 winners. So again, if you joined us late, to be eligible for ICE, all you have to do is follow the channel, watch the stream. You don't have to do anything else. It's completely random who wins. And the first winner for this match, oh, come on now. So Shinkaden won, but we just gave him a Saw on his EU account as a holiday gift earlier today. So I'm gonna count that as Shingagen's award. So we're gonna skip that. We're gonna do another one, and I don't think he will mind.
That guy's just a winner.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think that's not even the first time.
It's not the first time.
All right. So Devil 410X is a winner. Let me drop that in the chat. Congratulations.
And then let me interrupt you real quick, Playoff Beard. I have the list of people that I wrote down, so I'm just going to start reading off names, and if I see your username come online, it'd be hard to go random because there's so many, but...
Yeah, so if there are names, say them out loud now. Let's get that.
Okay, let's do it. Killer Monkey 365, Shabby, T Row, Grammar Jew, and Sir Yi. I saw that Sir Yi and T Row were already online, so I'm just looking for Grammar Jew, Shabby, and Killer Monkey 365.
All right, so, and just keep going, or pick randomly if they're not there. We don't want to hold on, too long, so we get back and get as many matches in as we can.
I'll keep reading names then. Fumtick, AO Monsta, Swaggy C, Garyon, Mindbender, and Farix. If you guys are able to sign in real quick, and I'll invite you. We'll play a game.
And let's definitely make sure we get teams that are even 3v3. Use that switch teams button. So the next winner of ICE, Flat Mango, is a winner. Congrats, Flat Mango. And the third winner for this match looks like an abbreviation for Demon Slayer, kind of, maybe. I'll put it in the chat, is a winner. So congrats to the 3 of you. I'm going to put all of the winners. It's going to look a little messy because I'm just going to do straight copy paste. But the winner recap so far is now in the chat. If you do win, just send a private message to Vainglory on Twitch. Just go to the Vainglory profile on Twitch, hit the little gear icon, hit the message button, and tell us your in-game player name. And I will award your ICE after the match is over. We'll keep doing 3 winners after every match. Last week we gave away 21,000 ICE. So we'll get in as many matches as we can and give away as much ICE as we can. And definitely keep your questions going. If you asked a question and you didn't get an answer, chances are the chat went by too fast. So don't worry about it. Feel free to ask it again. Don't spam it, but because Fury will help me find the questions also. But feel free to ask questions for me, Playoff Beard, one of the devs, for the other devs who are watching, for Kent, who's watching while on holiday, a professional MOBA player, and for 80, who's really good at answering some of the more nuanced questions about items and ratios and all that kind of nitty-gritty stuff that might be unclear or a little bit cloudy for you in terms of optimizing the stuff that you buy and how you play the heroes. So he's a great person to ask that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, friends, I play this game quite a bit. I have a bit of experience, so if you guys have questions about the game, I wrote an article about the differences between cooldown acceleration and cooldown reduction, but it might put you to sleep to read it. So to get a quick answer, you can just ask me, and I can do my best to answer questions on the fly.
So Wi-Fi Trash asking, will there ever be a competitive scene for Vainglory similar to LoL? So I think the honest answer there is that you guys will tell us if we're worthy of that. I think that's up to the players. I think when the players say, Vainglory is ready for a true competitive scene, then we'll know. Then we'll know that it's time. I think we're going to try to put everything, in place that we can to make it a good kind of esports worthy experience. There are still some fundamental things like spectator mode that aren't in the game yet, but it was really great to see in the 1v1 tournament kind of like what that could be like, where you use a second hero on each side to simulate spectator mode. I think that's really up to the players, but obviously everyone here at the Lair would love to see some large scale tournaments and that kind of stuff. I think that'd be really fun.
Did you say spectator mode is in the tubes, or hasn't been worked on, or is a cool idea? What's the status of that? Because I'm very interested in a spectator mode for obvious reasons.
I can't get into too many details, but we do have a dev who worked on League spectator mode. We do have a lot of really smart people on the engineering side who know what the player priorities are. So maybe I'll just say that.
Okay.
But we pay very close attention to what you want. So if there's a feature that's missing that you're looking for, chances are there's an engineer with that on his radar screen.
Cool. I think that's what we wanted to know. Obviously, we can't be like, hey, have you had your important meeting that says we give that? Obviously, if you gave us what stage it's in, we might not even understand the development term for it. So just knowing that it's something that the people want and you're giving the people, I think is cool.
So for the person asking about will the stats change on the heroes, that's something that we look at for every update. Surprise Birthday in particular really looks very closely at kind of item performance and hero performance. Captain Nito, our head of creative, our lead hero designer, obviously looks very closely at that as well. But Surprise Birthday, really looks at the kind of with the fine tweaking that can be done. So I would say there are definitely some items on the radar screen based upon what we've seen in 1.1.5, as well as some heroes.
Well played.
For example, Nito talked about Jewel during the Q&A, how we fixed a bug with Jewel that was effectively a nerf, and it's probably put her a little under where she should be right now. So 1.1.5 maybe not. 1.1.6 maybe not, but we're always looking at the heroes. We're always going to try to make sure the heroes are as balanced as possible with the rest of the roster. So Jewel is one I think you could expect to see some changes in the future to give her a little love, help her out a little bit. But it's something that we're constantly looking at. And that was Aldog, I found the question, who was asking about that. How long does the game normally take from Red Pirate Fox? 18 to 22 minutes, I think, is the average, but kind of when you get those really, really good kind of high elo, super competitive games, it can be, easily 20 to 30 minutes. But I rarely kind of get over that 30-minute mark, and I think that's, pretty important for this game.
Yeah, I don't think I've had a game. Well, I've probably had one or two go over 30 minutes, but it's really rare. And like you said, 18 to 21 is a much safer bet when looking at game times.
So for Midblade,
plus queue time.
Midblade's asking about AFKs and how it can be discouraging to have to deal with AFKs. AFK, we hate AFKs. We are not satisfied with this. And it's something that is a very high priority for the first quarter of the new year. I can tell you that based on what's going on. That said, we did just make the rules a lot stricter for repeat offenders. If you haven't read that article, it's in. I can drop the link in. It's on the website in the news section. We made the restrictions a lot tighter for people who AFK multiple times, both kind of overall and just in recency, recent frequency of AFKs. And they will get shunted off kind of onto their own little island where it will take longer for them to find matches because they're only going to play with people who are equally likely to abandon matches, and kind of do everything we can to keep those players away from players who care, players who are dedicated and want to finish their games, want the kind of full Vainglory experience. So, you know what? There's probably always going to be a group of people. Maybe they're super new to the game and they don't realize that if they leave a game that it really impacts everyone else's experience. And then there's some people who are just don't care or who are super casual because it's on a mobile device. And you know what? If they want a different experience, they can have it. But they'll have it in their own kind of side queue away from all the players who want really competitive matches. So we're deeply committed to that, and we're not going to stop until players are really satisfied with where that's at. So we definitely think we still have some work to do, but it's very high on the list. So I want to switch gears while I look at some more questions here. So you're playing Saw. You got a really early reflex block there. Tell me just kind of your thinking of what you're thinking with Saw, what you're planning on building, what you're seeing that's led you to go defense early.
Well, as you can see from the items that I haven't bought yet, I am playing Crystal Saw this game because I have a weapon item and I have a defensive item. The idea behind the reflex block is this Scarf ate my lunch. He killed me first blood 1v1. Off cheeky little stuff like that drives me insane. He gets in, he gets his damage in, and then he just leaves, and I'm left with nothing. And so I bought a reflex block because he calculates his damage so that his burn will kill me. And when he comes to kill me with that, I'm going to block it. In Champion Select, when we were in loading screen, I told myself, I'm going to build a reflex block this game because the enemy team had a Koshka. The Saw just put icing on that cake and kind of fast-tracked it because of how bad he... Sorry, the Scarf. I'm Saw, right?
Yeah, and so for anyone who doesn't realize, because this is important, Scarf is the most powerful level 1 hero in the game. Full stop. All right, so if you run into a Scarf in the jungle at level 1, you want to run. I think I'm going to leave it like that, just that simply. You don't want that fight unless that Scarf doesn't know what they're doing. So that's probably why that happened there. So it's just good to know, obviously, and AD, feel free to comment on this with more heroes. It's really valuable to know if a hero is strong early or late. So Scarf, super strong early game. Glaive, weak early game. Glaive can really carry hard late if you get a Glaive going, but you got to be careful in the early game. Ringo, weak early game until you get some gold from last hits and get some items and kind of get Ringo going real good.
And I think the same's true about Taka. I tried Taka out and I was like, I just don't get it, man. Maybe I'm just bad at life. And then I got to level 6 and I got a tension bow, and then I got to level 8 and then the game was over. I just started walking all over people. And all it was is you have to kind of survive the early game. I wasn't as strong in the early game as I was used to being, playing other champions like Cruel or Petal. Oh.
And so talk to me a little bit about your team comp here, like the team comp that you have, the team comp you're facing, and kind of how that's going to impact your tactics in this match.
All right, where there are a lot of, they have Scarf and Koshka, which is going to be more crystal damage. That also helps with the early reflex block. I don't even know who their third hero is, honestly. Petal? They have a Petal?
Pull up your scoreboard for a bit.
That works, right? Petal is a really, really strong champion. he just works in so many ways. He's great in the jungle, and he's great in lane. I remember defending somebody who was like, I think Petal's a good jungler on the Vainglory game subreddit, and people just attacked him, and they were like, Petal's not a jungler, Petal's a laner. And I was like, well, I've seen Petal come out of the jungle. I've seen Petal go jungle 1v2. If Chinopoly's in chat, Chino will destroy anybody with Petal. I had him play against me as Petal, and I laned 1v2, and he literally beat my team 2v1 in the jungle. It was insanity by himself, and it was just the way that he played it. He just played it right.
Yeah, I think Petal is in a pretty strong place right now.
I stopped attacking. Sadness. I think I also ran out of ultimate stacks. Yeah, Petal is a very neat champion. Has the pushing power, has the munions, can be built crystal, can be built weapon. Like, she's just so versatile that she's really a lot of fun. And she was my first love, so I won't ever talk bad about Petal. I think she's strong, and she's strong in the jungle and in lane. You can see here she's going to push down my turret solo because her munions can tank it forever.
Can you pull up the scoreboard real quick?
Yep. So Petal has Frostburn, so if I get close to her, she will never let me get away.
So I'm waiting to see the scoreboard, but assuming that Scarf is Crystal, so all right, there we go. So you see the blue on the scoreboard. So Crystal Scarf, Crystal Kashka. So that tells you kind of what that jungle is going to look like. And for the junglers looking at an Aegis or looking to just kind of deal with that, the Kashka and Scarf, both very bursty, both can be both can be very squishy depending on what you build. With Scarf, Scarf is going to be a really energy starved if Scarf doesn't get a Frostburn or really get an energy battery into a Void battery, which tends to lead to a Frostburn or an Eve of Harvest. So that's an interesting decision. I prefer a Frostburn because I want the stickiness. I want to stick to heroes so I can get more basic attacks in and really take advantage of that heroic perk. But it looks like this Scarf went Eve. So they're going to get some lifesteal from that. So just some interesting things to note. But in general, for the junglers now, you're facing a double crystal jungle with two characters that can do a lot of damage, but can also be very squishy, and that'll obviously should influence the way that they play. So I see a question about emergency disconnects. So there's a few things there. So first off, if you run out of battery power or you're about to run out of battery power and you happen to have both an iPad and an iPhone, for example, a lot of people don't realize you can switch devices mid-match if you have to. Obviously, you're going to lose some time, so you don't want to do it if you don't have to. But you could, plug in your iPad, turn it off, turn on your iPhone, and should be able to jump back into that same match and finish the match on a device that has power. In terms of AFKs, if you have an emergency and you have to go, the system isn't going to know. The system's not going to know what the circumstances were. But if you are always finishing your matches, that first time you AFK, you're just going to get a warning. So it won't impact you. If you repeatedly AFK, then it's going to affect your karma, and it could end up with you being in the repeat offenders queue. But the system should be able to protect you pretty well. And then we're always around. We're online. We're in the forums. We're doing these live streams. We're on Reddit. You can always find me if there's really special circumstances, and we can help straighten your stuff out if need be. For anyone joining late, this is AD Endress, who you see on video. He's got his own stream that you should definitely check out on Twitch when he's not guest hosting the official stream for Zkent like this week. I'm Playoff Beard, one of the Super Evil devs. Fury, another dev, is in chat. And I think Zkent, former Team Curse support, MOBA Pro, is in chat as well if you want to ask him questions. He just can't stream because he's on holiday today and will be back next week. We're giving away 3,000 ice after every match, so stay tuned for that. And if you're interested in playing, make sure you got AD Endress on your friend list, and he'll be plucking people out of there for party queue matches. So you got a turret down here. So tell me just kind of your thinking right now, kind of where you are in the match and what you need to do to pull this one out.
Oh, please, game. No, I was out of energy. I didn't buy energy regen. Oh, I think that fight was going to be pretty big. We did just try to take their second minion mine. We got 200 gold out of it. As normally as Saw lane, when I used to play Weapon Saw, I really liked when the other team had minion mines because I got more gold. But in this instance, it really wasn't that great because I have to use so much energy to keep the lane pushed. It's just making me exhausted. But you know, we moved in the jungle, we took their minion mine, and then I got to clean up a couple kills in the fight there, and then ran out of energy before I could finish my quest of the evasive triple kill. And now we're gonna fight in the jungle. I think it'll really rely on me getting a bunch more defensive stats before I can start being an impact in this game. Right now, I'm just trying to pump out damage and.
So what have they done well to be up in turrets right now?
You know, Scarf has abilities that can push the wave, but so does Petal. And I think Petal rotating while I was back really helped their team out. So something they did really smart right there is they just took Gold Mine just before 15 minutes. And what that does is it doesn't leave us enough time to take it back, and then Kraken spawns and they collect on the gold. It's a pretty basic strategy, but one that not many people think about because you're not really thinking about the 15-minute mark until it's too late, and you're like, oh, we got to keep Kraken on our radar, don't let them take Kraken. But before Kraken, I think that's a really important part in the game.
And for anyone who maybe is a little bit newer, the timing of taking the gold mine is super important. You know, so the reason that 80 said what he said is that if someone takes the gold mine at 14 minutes, there isn't enough time for gold to accumulate in the mine to be worth taking it again before the Kraken spawns at the 15-minute mark. So if someone, you know, takes a full gold mine, it's not worth it to your team to take it back right away. It's actually a really bad decision to take it back right away unless you're just way more comfortable defending a gold mine instead of, you know, taking it when it's, you know, at least half full. The timing of taking those mines is super important. The timing of taking the minion mines is super important. The minion mines, most fundamentally, help you push lane, right? So if you take them too early, then you might over-push the lane, and then your laner has to come out too far, and it can be really rough for him in the earlier or early mid-game if you know, if the power of the minions in the lane are getting too far out in front of them and leaving them too exposed. So the timing of that is super important. And then again, Kraken is the ultimate means of pushing the lane. So if you have an ace and you can just push the lane, you might want to just push the lane instead of taking Kraken, because when the enemy team kills Kraken, they're going to get a lot of gold for it. So all this timing matters, and we have a Kraken fight right now.
Yeah, we transitioned into a Kraken fight. We got a couple good picks. Oh, friend, please, I'm your friend. Thank you. That friend almost tried to kill me. But yeah, we had a couple good picks, and I felt like we had an advantage, and so we capitalized on it. We got Kraken, and as soon as I got Kraken, I rotated the second minion mine because as long as our minions are stronger, we can sustain this push with Kraken. Even if Kraken dies, as long as our minions are stronger, we're just going to keep pushing up.
So real quick, just to answer a few more questions here. For Killer Bee, who's talking about spam on Vainglory Fire, we are aware. We let them know right away. They were actually already aware. They had to work on kind of a more holistic solution there because MOBA Fire got hit to a whole bunch. You know, they all got hit. But I believe that's all cleaned up now, and then it came back, and then it's cleaned up again. So if you're not using Vainglory Fire for finding hero guides and general strategy, definitely check out Vainglory Fire. Fantastic resource, and I believe the spam is cleared up from there now. Let's see.
Do I get the passive twice if I have a second alternating current? I would, right? That makes sense.
Just trying to find some more questions here.
So you guys are probably noticing that I'm leaving my boots at tier 2. I'll show you guys real quick why that is. If you look at the tier 2 boots, you get 150 max health and 3 health regen, and then your sprint is on a 110-second cooldown. For 900 gold, you get 50 health, 5 health regen, 25 armor, and a slightly shorter cooldown. You still move at the same speed. So the bonuses just aren't quite worth 900 gold in my opinion, until of course your finished build, in which case then you're just looking at any upgrades you can get your hands on. Uh-oh. Guys, I'm coming.
Allied hero.
So for the person asking about the Kashka ult bug,
Allied hero.
I don't know what which you're specifically referring to, but as a Kashka main, there are definitely a couple things that I'm aware of. You can use the ult and end up being a little bit displaced from where the hero is, depending on some factors. That is definitely something that has gotten better, but we will get completely fixed. And then for anyone talking about the recall bug, that's kind of the fun one. That's pretty rare, where if you use an ult at exactly the right time or pounce at exactly the right time when someone's recalling, that you could end up in the enemy base. That's actually almost more of a genre bug than a Vainglory bug. It's something that a number of games have gone through, and something that we will get straightened out for sure, and we're aware of it. For now, my bucket list thing is actually to try to when that happens, to drop a scout trap in the enemy base before I die, so that I can have vision on the enemy base all match long when people recall. I haven't pulled it off yet. I've gotten very close, but I haven't quite pulled it off. So that is my bucket list item. I'm hoping to get that done before the bug gets fixed.
And part of the trick is you have to step to the side so that they don't spawn on the trap, trigger it, and have it blow up. You need it to be there so that you have that little bit of vision in their base, which is really cool.
So I like this question from Zealith. Maybe we can tag team it. If you could only give 5 tips about Vainglory to someone, what would they be? So I'll give tip number 1, 80, then you can give tip number 2. So my first tip would be that the team that gets the most gold is probably going to win. That it's really all about gold that then you can turn into items, and then those items are going to give you the power that you need to win the match. So especially for someone new to the game, last hit, especially in the jungle, spend time jungle clearing. Don't spend all your time, camping lane or ganking lane. Get as much gold as you can. On a very, very basic level, the team with the most gold is going to have the best shot at winning. What would be your second tip if we could only give 5 tips to someone?
Oh man, you took last hit, huh? I think positioning is a big thing in this game. I think people like playing champions that either have CC or can kite really well, like Petal does, for good reason. If you can position yourself well, though, you don't need a lot of that extra stuff that handles positioning for you. And it's something that people don't normally think about, but can actually end up costing some people the game. So,
all right, so I'm going to say my third tip is map awareness. Especially when people are new to the game, they don't naturally look at the little mini map. It's kind of one of those things that comes later for people. And even when you are the hotness, you still can do a lot of work on your map awareness and your responsiveness, which is really your ability to respond to situations. So, if really for anyone, if you wanted to just work on improving one thing, work on, your read and recognition of the minimap and better responding to your teammates to, join team fights or create 2v1 skirmishes or ping the don't ping to tell someone to get out when they're fighting something they shouldn't fight, or responding to a Kraken attempt. I think everyone, barring maybe Zkent, has room to improve on their map awareness.
and that is a really good one.
Do you have a number 4?
I did. I guess one really important thing that helped me a lot was understand the champions, understand their abilities, and understand the items. They're the basic concepts of the game. The items that you can buy, the items that you'll have to play against, different things like that, and then understanding the champions and what their abilities are capable of. Oh, guy, I need a little bit of lifesteal. Thank you.
And one of the best ways to do that, guys, folks, is play the heroes. You know, play all the heroes, because even if you don't think that a hero is kind of your style, if you've played them, you will understand their kit. You'll understand their abilities better, and then you'll be able to play against them better because you'll understand what their timing is like and kind of the way they need to go about playing the hero that you're playing against. So that's always a super effective way to accomplish that.
I think Petal's in that bush. Oh, gosh.
And I'll say for my number 5 is counter building. Pull up the scoreboard like I see on the screen right now and build items based upon what the enemy has built. Defensive items are in a really strong place in Vainglory right now, to be honest with you. If you see a lot of blue on the enemy team, you got to be building yellow. If you see crystal, that's blue. You got to be building shield, which is yellow. If you see a lot of red, that's weapon. You got to be building armor, which is kind of that brownish gold color. If you see a tension bow and you understand tension bow, you're going to want to build a dragon heart. It's going to really help with that. So just understanding what the enemy team is building and effectively reacting to that. Suddenly, you're going to be taking a lot less damage and you're going to be doing a lot more damage. It also has a flip side. If you were planning on going crystal, but you see both of your allies are going pure crystal damage, you probably need to go weapon or go some kind of utility or hybrid, because you have to give the enemy team a decision. If you're all crystal, if you're all blue, all they have to do is build shielding, and they're going to totally dominate you. They're going to be able to mitigate so much damage. So look at the scoreboard for the enemy, look at the scoreboard for your allies, and what you might need to do to kind of change things up from what you were originally going to do. Really great reflex block there on a Kashka ult, which is one of the harder ults to reflex block, but you can do it. So that was a fun one to see right there.
Yeah, it made me so happy that I actually got it off in time. I almost always miss it.
It's a good blind fireball from a scarf.
Yeah.
And my extra tip, which is the one that I will continue to preach every live stream, every chance I get. If you are not dropping a scout trap behind the gold miner or behind the kraken, do it. You will have vision on one of the critical objectives of the game. You might also find an enemy scout trap there. They might be one step ahead of you, and then you'll have an opportunity to clear their scout trap and leave yours. But if you have vision on the gold mine, it is going to radically change your match. So put a scout trap behind the gold miner, sweep that gold mine pit to clear enemy mines, and dominate on vision. If you dominate on vision, you're going to have a huge advantage in this game.
That's very true. That's one of the reasons why flare guns are also so effective. It's just vision is really strong. I'm running myself right out of energy. I might need to sell one of these shatter glasses. Like, it was fun while it lasted, but I'm just not able to keep up. If I use 2 abilities, I'm just really run myself out of energy. Let's see if my team's going to fight without me again. Oh, you got him. Nice. Kill that scarf. Get the little caterpillar. Squish him.
Paragon's asked a few times about fan lore and whether it can be integrated into the official lore. I love reading this stuff. There is a place to do fan lore or fan fiction as well as fan art in the forums. I think you're more likely to see contests, like fan art contests soon, and fan fiction contests, but you never know what kind of twists we might put on that. I think there are a lot of opportunities for how we can integrate all the great ideas that the community has and pull it into the kind of Vainglory world in one way or another.
Just feeding up a storm. Pretty sure that's an ace. Yeah, darn it.
All right, so talk to us a little bit about where kind of you think this match is at. What's transpired in this match, what people can take away from what they've been watching in this match.
Petal has taken over the game. She's got 2 defensive items, and we just can't match her. We can't kill her faster than she can kill us. If we focus her, then the 2 other champions on her team are DPS, so they just erase us. And if we don't focus her, then she'll kill us. And we can't get to her because Kashka is so slippery that you expend a little bit of resources taking her down. And I don't know. I don't know how we pin down this Petal with those 2 defensive items. I think.
So do you think it has more to do with what they've done, or more to do with kind of how your team is built and how your team is engaged up to this point and kind of the position that it's put them in?
Probably a good mix of both. I think they've played it correctly. Yeah, I'm not going down there. That's Death Zone. This is when the enemy team just gets to pick on you after they've already won the game and humiliate you a little bit more.
For the
Man,
people asking about bots, the first bot is obviously in the practice mode feature right now. There's a glaive bot in there, so the tech exists, and it wouldn't surprise me to see more bots or a versus bot mode in the future. It's obviously not there now, but the tech is there, so there's definitely an opportunity. So good game. I personally, I'm sorry, 80, but I personally love it when we don't win all the matches on the live stream.
sure.
When we have some hotly contested matches. So good game to the folks who managed to take down 80's team this time.
And it was actually like a really close game. The I think both teams played well, and you can see if you look at the jungle matchups in the lane, I was laned up against Scarf. Scarf I only beat by about 1,500 gold, 1,450 gold. So he did really well to hold his own. Had a respectable KD 969, and then in the jungle where Petal was there, Petal had more money than both of my junglers combined. So
Wow.
if you compare him just to the more rich of the two junglers, he was ahead by 3,100 gold. So the lead that I had in lane was lost there. And then if you look at the junglers with less gold, the comparison there is another 2,200 gold, which put our team down by, 4,000 gold total. And we're just, it's really a hard deficit to come back from. Like you saw there at the end, I sold my boots. I was hoping to buy a crystal or weapon infusion or both, and then rebuy my boots, but I just didn't have time. I had to try to run down and suppressing fire to just clear minions, and it still wasn't enough. So here's
So
builds if
obviously,
you're
everyone.
interested.
Sorry to cut you off. I just want to say because everyone's looking for the ice. We're about to do the ice, and 80. If you need to call out any names and get that going for the queue for the next match, let's prioritize that.
That's a good idea. Okay.
I will get some ice winners queued up. So again, just to recap really quick, that's 80 Indris you see on video. If you want a shot at playing with or against him, add him in game, 80 Indris. He has a stream when he's not guest hosting for Zken. Definitely check out his stream, which I really enjoy. We're doing 3,000 ice randomly selected after every match. So 3 winners. I just hit a button in Twitch and it randomly selects a winner. All you have to do is follow the channel and watch the stream and you're eligible to win. Everything else is random for the winners. I'm Playoff Beard, one of the Super Evil devs. I'm only on audio today. We are helping out while Zken is on holiday. And let's do some ice. Did you have any names you had to call out before I do ice?
Yeah, if I could. I got an invite from Jetpack to Momo, Terminate, Werewolf Funk, Wicked Exempt, Yogo BR, Wicked Slizzer, and Sunon. Those are the ones I'm going to be looking for first. I named off like 6 or 7, and we'll try to do a custom game again.
All right. Let's hand out some ice. I'm just trying to read some of the things in the chat that are going by. So first winner for this match, Navold is a winner. Let me put that in there. Congrats to Navold. Second winner is Betim1 is a winner. And the third winner for this match is the Vast Meow. That's a great name. I hope he's a glaive main. That would be fantastic. The Vast Meow is a winner. Congrats on those winners. I'm going to drop into chat all the winners to date. If you did win, just send a private message to Vainglory on Twitch. Just go to the Vainglory profile page on Twitch. Hit the little gear that'll bring up a message button, hit the message button, and put in your in-game player name. That's all we need, and we'll add your ice after the stream is over. I'm going to do a quick recap of all the winners to date. And there they are. We'll put this in the forums too. So congrats to all the winners so far. We're going to do at least 3 winners after every match. All right.
There's a guy who added me named Fuzzy Butt Cheeks. I was really hoping he was here so he could play, so you'd have to like announce his name while he was playing over and over again.
Oh, so I just want to, because I've seen this like 4 times now, so I want to answer them. So, Iggleto is asking about, let me just try to read this, the technical side of the chat. Is it viable for you to provide players with voice chat directly in game? Concerns regarding language, et cetera, et cetera. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. It's possible for us to do voice chat. It's possible for us to do all sorts of chat. Where we come down on that is, you know, just largely based on what we think is going to be the best experience, is both in terms of game performance and in terms of toxicity and teamwork and all of those elements. So I can promise you that that is all being discussed, and that chat is coming worldwide, as well as more, we're having a broader conversation about communication in game. So that party queue chat, is really still the beginning. Will there ever be voice chat? That's number one, not up to me, and number two, I don't know the answer to that. But I can promise you those questions are being asked.
So, Playoff Beard, who's the best laner?
The best laner in the game?
Yep.
I think it all depends on whose hands it's in.
Okay.
I'm pretty deathly afraid of Z-Kent with a saw right now. I think that's super, super strong. I think Scarf in the right hands is super dangerous.
I feel like you're like provoking me. You're trying to get it out of me, aren't you?
I don't know who you feel you're best at. And then obviously Adagio is kind of the quintessential hero, where it all depends on whose hands Adagio is in. You know pretty early, like, is the Adagio using reflex block to protect their own channel? Is the Adagio stunning with his ultimate, because he's doing his abilities in the right order? You figure out pretty fast how quality that Adagio is, but a dangerous Adagio is usually a very dangerous Adagio. I gotta be honest, like, I main Kashka. I play a lot of jungle. I tend to play jungle, in general. So I'd be interested in your opinion.
No, the reason I said you're provoking me is because a long time ago I was getting ready for my company's Christmas party, so I guess it wasn't too long ago. But I had like half an hour, and so of course I pulled out the iPad and hopped in a game of Vainglory. You may have heard of it. And I didn't really pay attention to who I was playing against, but I was playing as Ringo, and I was like, hey, I don't want to get cheesed in lane, and so I kind of like sat back because I was so late to lane. So I sat back for a little bit, and a Saw came to lane, and I noticed the Saw's name was Z-Kent. And I had gotten matched up against Z-Kent in solo queue, and I remember him saying on stream how he'd only lost one game as Saw, or had never lost a game as Saw, or something crazy like that. And so I got really intimidated because it was probably my second or third game as Ringo, and I got really lucky that game. But Z-Kent seen the screenshot. I put it on the subreddit. I couldn't help it. I'm coming, boys. Am I too late? I'm too late. I'm sorry. I always get to parties much too late.
Joe Pa is asking about kind of the plans for the heroes and designing based on role or kind of how we design those. So if you haven't watched the Q&A with Captain Nito, you're going to get some really great answers to that. Just go to the Vainglory Casual channel on YouTube, and I'll drop the link in the chat as well for the Vainglory Casual YouTube channel. You can find the Q&A replay. Captain Nito, and the team think about this a lot of different ways. One is kind of obviously role is one, but then there's also kind of the try hard to whimsy scale. So Petal is obviously very whimsical. Krull is obviously kind of the other end of that spectrum. Light and dark. So we like to have a range of personalities, as well as a range of kind of roles and play styles. So all of that factors in, and obviously we've planned out the next 3 heroes altogether. Check out the lore that just dropped in the news section if you haven't already, which is the start of the story of the next 3 heroes, who not only do they have interwoven stories, but they will also have some in-game synergies and some other things that we've thought through. So obviously those 3 are are designed to work together in the game. So there's a lot of different ways that we think about that, and Capnito's is the best person if you want to go back and watch the Q&A from the prior live stream.
So I actually find it a little more difficult to last hit under turret as Saw because his attacks are coming so quickly, and I made the huge mistake of buying attack speed on him early. But the problem I'm having against this Petal is that if I'm not spun up, she walks me with her minions and she will win trades one-on-one even when I'm spun up. So if I don't get spun up quicker, I very quickly start to lose trades. Oh, I might be dead. Just maybe. I lived!
For
Spoiler alert.
cheesy, we will keep making heroes as long as the game is supported. As long as you guys want to play the game, we will continue to make heroes. Full stop.
You want to attack me? I didn't think so. Another fun thing I just realized is that they don't have hard CC until after level 6. So that means that I don't have to lose my stacks if I don't want to lose my stacks. As long as I have something to attack, I can keep my stacks maintained. I shouldn't have attacked the... Alright, I'm going to jump off you. Thank you. Pop
So tell me,
potion! Oh gosh.
Tell me what you're thinking so far based upon kind of what you're seeing, and just kind of like if you have kind of an overarching plan for, what you want to try to pull off in this match. What are you thinking right now?
Right now, I'm thinking I'm going to go, I'm going to build a couple of the Tyrant's monocle item. I'm going to do old school weapon saw. Because of their lack of hard CC, I can actually provide really high DPS if I can just guarantee crits and hit really hard. So it's part of the plan for this match is I'll just see how high I can get my crits. Before the nerf to Saw's ultimate, and it's not really a nerf, I shouldn't call it that. Before the change to Saw's ultimate, I was hitting the Vein Crystal for over 2,500 damage with my ultimate. But since it's been changed, it's a little bit different in how the numbers ramp up, and if you don't have Crystal, it really doesn't do that much. But I'll show that even with Weapon Saw, you can still get quite a bit of damage out. And here, Petal's run herself out of energy. Oh man, this again? Okay. They just keep running back after me.
So God Adagio is asking what is lack of CC, and I'll add to that how is that impacting it. So if you want to just for the people who are a little bit newer to the genre, you want to talk about that.
Yeah, CC is a term that I've never really liked because it's an acronym that doesn't really go anywhere. I don't feel like it really portrays its meaning very well, but it means crowd control, which makes even less sense. And basically what it means is hard CC is something that stuns, and so they don't have a stun on their team until after they're level 6. What that means is that my spin up ability, my passive, where each time I attack, I start attacking faster and faster. You can see here stack on the left 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you see I'm already hitting faster and faster. That ability is just part of my passive. It also makes me move incredibly slowly. So as I go to walk away, you can see I'm crawling away at a snail's pace until those passive stacks wear off, and then I get a bit of my movement speed back. That's just part of Saw, and it's part of how he gets his damage. Where they don't have hard CC, they don't have CC that can turn those stacks off, as long as I don't go too long without hitting something, I'll be able to maintain those stacks and keep them on. See here, there's nothing to hit, except Petal moved her minions within range, which is probably a mistake. Sorry friends, I'm not coming. But neither are they, so you're okay. Right?
And Billy Havoc asking, will the new heroes be on the stream before release? That kind of depends on the timing. I think it was pretty cool that we had Scarf on the live stream before Scarf was out. I can't promise that, but maybe we'll try to do it if we can.
There, I just saw Petal use her ultimate. I know for the next minute from like 7:30 something-ish that she doesn't have her ultimate, so I can play a little bit more aggressively. Not necessarily afraid of ganks. I've already escaped a bunch of ganks, luckily.
The Vast Meow saying he's getting frustrated that he can't PM in the game. Actually, he probably actually meant that he can't PM in Twitch. And if that's true, just find me anywhere, Vast Meow. I'm Playoff Beard. I'm in the forums. I'm in Reddit. I'm in Line. I'm pretty much everywhere. Just find me. Make sure I have your IGN. The reason, go to a PC if you can, then, or a Mac, and to try to send a private message on Twitch. I'm going to need to verify that you are you if you don't do it through Twitch in another way, so that you can get your ice. But we'll figure that out. But we'll make sure you get your ice. Don't worry. For the person asking about advice on Taka, the quickest thing that I'll tell you on Taka, just to tell you one thing, just focus on making sure your stacks stay up all the time. Even if you have to use your invisibility, your Kaku, the box, just to keep your stacks up, focus on that. Focus on keeping those stacks at 5 so that every time you have a fight, you're fighting with 5 stacks. It will go a really long way. So there's obviously different ways you can build Taka. You can build an X-Retsu crystal power Taka. You can instead build a tension bow on a Taka and go weapon, and that can be really effective. There's one build that I like, which is kind of like the glowing hands Taka, where you just try to get everything that procs, everything that glows on a Taka. So that's a tension bow, an aftershock, maybe an alternating current. Get everything that glows on a Taka and see how that game feels for you. But as kind of a bottom line tip, keep the stacks at 5 and see what you can do.
Minion mine. Your minions are now weaker.
Are they going to go for the gold mine, you guys think? I'll rotate down there.
For G100 7000, we hear you on wanting to play with 80, and he's calling out names of players. This guy's saying that he was on, one of the first people on the forums, hasn't been able to play. I can't guarantee you're going to be able to play, but I can guarantee that 80 will look for people and try to get them into matches. But maybe not this time. There will be more opportunities.
And they've definitely seen my friends list and the fact that I've gotten, 140 requests after the first game. I'm going to try to get people as best I can, but I have to pick people randomly. So I'm just kind of grabbing from the list, and I'm seeing people that have added me from the forums and have added me from Reddit. So I'm definitely being mindful of that.
And Denny asking about explaining clockwork, or really if you don't understand the nuances of any particular item, 80 can talk about using clockwork for a minute if you want, but go to Vainglory and go to the wiki, go to the items wiki on Vainglory, and you'll find kind of like all the details on the items, all the details on the abilities, all the details on the heroes. That's kind of the most comprehensive wiki that we have now for Vainglory, for the game. So make sure you're utilizing Vainglory for the guides, for the general strategy, and for the wiki for stuff like the items. But do you want to talk for a minute about Clockwork and who you like it on and how you go about using it well?
Sure. I think one Clockwork is really great because the 50% cooldown acceleration is just a huge amount of abilities that you get to spam. It just gives you your abilities back so much quicker. It works on almost any champion because the early energy recharge that it gives is something that I've really found myself favoring. I've gotten it on Saw, I've gotten it on Cruel, I've gotten it on Koshka, I've gotten it on Petal, I've gotten it on just about anybody, because 50% cooldown acceleration is really, that's really when you're in a good spot. The more you get, it almost appears to have diminishing returns just because of the nature of the stat, but ultimately it's all just lowering cooldown, so it's all doing about the same thing. My friends might die.
For people who are asking about what stacks are, it varies from hero to hero. So you definitely just want to read up on the abilities. When I'm talking about Taka's stacks, so critical strikes is a big part of Taka's kit, in Taka's ability set in general, and he gains 1 key stack whenever he performs an ability or a critical strike, up to 5 stacks. So in each stack also speeds up his guaranteed critical strikes and grants some cooldown acceleration, does some cool stuff. So it varies from hero to hero, but there's going to be a way that you can essentially generate a number on the bottom left of the screen, and that screen is going to make your hero more powerful if you understand the way that the abilities work. So in Taka's case, stacks are going to equal critical strikes, and critical strikes are going to make you do more damage. So building weapon and focusing on critical strikes, getting something like a Tyrant's Monocle or getting Sorrow Blades can be super, super powerful on a Taka. So it's just about understanding the individual hero. Jewel has stacks. Kashka has some stacks. So read up on the heroes, make sure you understand those nuances, and it will obviously impact the way you play.
And you'll notice there, we got the gold payout, and then they immediately went for the gold mine. And here, they're chasing my team through the jungle. I might die for this, but Weapon Saw does considerable amounts of damage to the turret. I'm going to try to get some damage in, and then I'm going to die. Yeah, they're just roaming as a 3-man King squad, and my team's running to take minion mines, which is actually shooting us in the foot. As Weapon Saw, I want them to control both minion mines, and then my junglers to fight them in the jungle while I pressure the lane. The reasons for that is because the minions of theirs will be worth more money and push harder, so it'll push to my side. I'll still be in safety, but I'll get faster farm, which I'm all about the farm. We need to get in position for gold mine, but don't go there till I get there.
So what do you do in a situation like this? Like in general, if you feel like you don't necessarily have great team coordination going on, what do you try to do to compensate for that? Or if they're just not, I mean, maybe they're good players, but they're just not on the same page as you, which also happens.
Sometimes I just have to take a step back. Like, that gold mine was a really bad idea. I don't even know if we got it, to be honest. I think we did, but either way, it was a bad idea. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll ping back once, and then I'll just go to lane and farm. And my team will... I don't think it's over yet, friend. My team will get upset that they died, but if they're a logical thinking person, they'll say, you know what? It was just a bad fight. We were in a bad spot, and we died. We tried to commit on a fight that we weren't going to win, and we paid the price for it. And here I need Taka to run back to me, otherwise I can't help him. And for the longest time, I thought Taka was a girl. I feel like Taka's a girl name, probably because of Tika. Who's Tika? Tika was probably a character from like Dragonlance books back from when I was a kid. And then, I don't know, he kind of has ponytails. Why did I just help him get that? Oops. No, I'm going to ping back once, and I'm going to go to lane. Yeah, it's a bad idea. Yeah, Tika was a character from a book, so I don't know. My childhood has scarred me to the point where I don't think that Taka's the guy. I'm going to try to recall here, because I can get Monocle and Reflex Block, and then I should be able to fight a lot more effectively. I've been noticing that Adagio will walk up to me and heal himself, and then while I'm sitting there in the burn in the 70% slow, he'll use his ultimate, which then chain CCs me and just stuns me. And again, I was talking about how efficient it'll be when I can't get stunned, and then they're just stunning me at will. So here I'm going to start running away, use a potion. Oh, she must have already used ult. That's good.
For the people who are asking, if you want to win ice after each match, all you have to do is watch the stream and follow the channel, and you're eligible. Everything else is random from there. If you win, you just go to the Vainglory profile page on Twitch, click the gear icon, click the message button, send a private message to us with your player name if you are one of the 3 randomly selected winners after that match, and we'll make sure you get your ice. If you have trouble with that for any reason, don't stress it. Just find me, Playoff Beard, and we'll make sure you get your ice. Just find me anywhere, and I'm pretty much everywhere.
It's a little discouraging when players lose a surrender vote and then just keep on throwing up surrenders. Really, one of the best things that could happen for us right now, where we're so far behind, is if the enemy team got Kraken. Weapon Saw can sustain damage against the Kraken as he walks into base, and so I can get out there, start pumping out some damage, and as long as my team doesn't continue to get caught in the jungle, we can really turn this game around.
Your team
It does
captured
help
one
that
of
the
your
enemy
minion
team
lines.
has
Ally
a
minions are now
tank
stronger.
in Adagio and a tank in Koshka. At least Koshka feels durable. Oh, they're behind me. That's
Enemy
great.
is getting
And you
replaced.
make a really good point there because this is something people don't think about. But if you take Kraken instead of pushing, Kraken gives a ton of gold to the enemy team when he goes down. So if you have a spun up saw that kind of carves through a Kraken and you don't lose too much out of it, then you've gotten the gold you need to buy items to potentially start to crawl your way back into the match. So if someone has a dominant advantage, then just going ahead and pushing hard might be a better option than taking Kraken. Definitely in certain scenarios it is.
Enemy team
Definitely.
stole a minion mine.
Depending on how big your advantage is, if you're going to push in and die and start to get the other team back into the game, then it's probably not worth it. But
For the people asking about what's a
Oh
good
my goodness.
Taka build, go to Vainglory Fire and check out the hero guides on Vainglory Fire. I think I even put up one for people who are new to Taka. That's your best resource for finding some great guides. Vaingloryfire.com. The max karma level right now for Battlemongers, the max karma level is 20 right now, and that gives you a 24% glory boost. So you are rewarded for completing your games. It doesn't matter if the match ends in a victory, defeat, or surrender. If you finish the match, you will accumulate karma. That karma will give you glory boosts. And glory you obviously can use to unlock heroes. And there will be a lot more, there will definitely be more uses for glory and ice in the future. That stuff is still super secret right now, but I think you'll be pretty excited. We're working on some pretty cool stuff. And that is for real. That is like, there are very real things happening on that front. There are I just can't talk about, but I'm particularly excited with some of that stuff, and it's on the way.
looks like we lost our Koshka again. To Koshka, right? Yeah. Yeah, Koshka. That's good. Rip.
Enemy hero killed.
There, we got one kill. Oh, there's my... Oh, darn, I didn't get it off in time.
Hero killed.
That's too bad.